How's it going? You're watching Optimalt, my alt that I do dumb shit on. Anyway, here we go. So we're drawing Cherry. So what I do is I draw the shoulders like that. No, not like that. So basically you draw this sort of shape. The midsection goes in slightly, but that'll be fixed later. Then that, and that's going to be the thighs. So by this point, then you want to fill that in, and you want to draw the neck like that. You want to make whatever arm pose. This is how I draw pretty much everything, but like there's specifics depending on the character. So I'm just gonna draw with her arms behind her back to make it easy. Now, I use a circle tool for the head because I'm lazy and I don't know how to draw. Anyway, so yeah, you put that there. There you have basically what we start with. So then you want to get a lower one and you want to go in and you want to sort of turn this blob into line art. So basically, like, you want to accurately trace around the silhouette you made. So that way you'll get good line art for you to build off of once you finish. I'm not scripted right now, so I'm just kind of talking out of my ass, but so once you do that, you fill that in with the bucket and boom. It's kind of messy, but that'll be fixed later, obviously. I'm going to smooth out the neck right now, actually. Like that. Okay, so then once you do that, you want to start getting the rest of the basic shape of the body. Now what I like to do is I like to add the separation in the thighs and then the sort of something that represents the crotch area just so I can get a feel for where the rest of the body is. Then you just want to get, usually I go by 6 pixels. And then clear out some areas if you missed them. You might want to redo the thigh line if you're extending the thighs like I am. I don't always do this. But then you want to, I'm going to erase that now. Because ultimately what the line is supposed to be is the separation between her legs without making her legs open. Now this is just how I draw them in like a neutral pose. Obviously you would draw more open legs if they were in like an action pose, but like Cherry is rarely in action poses. So then what I do is I just sort of, for this pose, which I find to be very, yeah, sometimes I forget my own technique, but basically you want to extend the lower arm just a little bit. And then what I do is I add a little round. And yes, that looks like a dick, I know, but like seriously, it helps. That's the elbow. And basically you want, that elbow helps, if you imagine it as like a ball that rotates, like it's an articulated figure, it helps you get a better feel for where the arms go. My dog just walked in the room. Hello, Luke. What do you want? What do you want? Okay, so the problem is sometimes it won't always work how you want it to work. So you'll have to do it a couple of times. Trial and error. Yeah, these are just the techniques I've taught myself. Self-taught and not that bad. Not half bad. I need to replay that game on a harder difficulty, motherfucker. Also gotta redraw Jetstream Sam. You see, my mind is normally this scatterbrained. What you see in my videos is fixed version. Now, you'll notice once you do that, she'll have a bunch of like weird lines on her arms. You want to get rid of that. Overlapping lines are good, actually. You just need to erase them later. But you want to get the proportions right first and foremost before the line art looks good. So there you have basic humanoid. Now we're going to actually give Cheri's distinct details. So normally, if you were drawing this is where it gets kind of awkward, but like when you draw these, you don't want to draw them like that. There shouldn't be they don't get sucked up. That's not how they work. You kind of just want like a bump. And don't worry if it gets rid of like the arm things. You'll definitely have to do this a few times just to get it right. But yeah, it's just like a big like balloon, oblong balloon that hangs from the shoulders. Sometimes it helps too, because like if your best ones look like this, sometimes if you really cannot get the balloon shape, and this is not my final one, but what I like to do is I can just turn it, alter the shape. So I'm gonna cut till I figure this shit out. And we're back. Finally figured out one that looks good. Obviously it has a little suck up there, but we'll fix that. So you want to erase all the overlapping lines like that. Now you have that outline. You want to go from around. You want to go from around here. Sorry, that was Cheri. And you want to erase that little suck up. And boom. Now what I do from here is this is where I start making. Usually, if you're gonna color it in, which I color in all my drawings, obviously, you want to save the little lines like the collarbone and stuff like that for once it's colored in, because of the stupid way that the bucket works in Paint 3D. You don't want to mess with that. So I'm gonna go with her classic, not classic, like her new classic shirt. Hasn't appeared for a while. But basically it's the green one. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to give her jean shorts like she normally has. So, yeah, by the way, we will be fixing this line art, but not quite yet. So you want to give her that little neckline. And you want to... This stuff will go away once it's colored in, so you don't really have to worry about it now. But by this point, you have the basic body shape and the basic clothes shape. So what you're going to want is you're going to want to add in your colors by this point. Or wait, no you're not. No you're not. I'm stupid. You need to add Cheri's. Because Cheri has a very distinctive leaf hair. So you're going to add her little stem. And then from the stem, you're going to make a leaf. And I kind of range in how I draw it, but usually I like big leaves. That way it looks like hair, but at the same time you can tell it's not overabundant hair. And once again, don't worry about the overlap. We'll get rid of that. And it goes down. It didn't used to, but it goes down on this side, but not a lot. Just wanted to get rid of that like half-shaven look she used to have. I'm just going to go with that. And that's good. So then you're going to want to erase the parts of the head clipping through the leaves. And once you do that, you'll realize that you did the leaves terribly and you're going to have to do them again. Cut. And we're back. And we're just about complete here on the leaves. Yeah, the leaves are usually the hardest part of drawing Cherry, from my opinion. Just because you gotta get them right, you gotta look like hair, but leaves at the same time. So now is when you actually want to. So Cherry's skin color. Oh, by the way, you're gonna want to add sleeve lines. So Cherry's skin color, a lot of people would just go in and make it red like that, but no. Even if it's not super accurate, I usually make her skin more like a rosy color, like this. And then for her shirt, you're going to want a darker green. And for the jean shorts, you want that. And obviously for the leaves, you're going to want this bright green right here that you get automatically. Colors vary, obviously, but consider this like a reference sheet. So now is usually when I draw the expression. Now, a lot of people are probably less haphazard about drawing expressions and, like, you know, map out carefully, but I'm stupid, so I just draw the expression on the face. And I keep redrawing it until I like it. I have a hard time not drawing my characters with this sort of bored expression because that's how Ghost looks all the time. But I'm just gonna give her a neutral, completely neutral expression. Looks a bit happy, but you know, Cherry's happy a lot. So then what you want to do is I give all my female characters like this eyelashes just to drive home more that they're female because my drawings tend to have an effeminate quality to them no matter what I'm drawing, so I kind of need to get that across. I usually draw the collarbones sticking in. I used to draw the necklines, but that's not really necessary. You also want to sort of get the lines for that. It doesn't have to be much. We're also going to shade this, by the way, but I'm not amazing at that. So then I fill her eyes in with just pure white because she doesn't have pupils. And then I give her eyebrows. I didn't used to, but eyebrows are nice. My characters look weird without eyebrows because of the way my styles evolved. So if you're just copying me, just give her neutral looking ones like this. You don't want her to look like she's scowling or anything. And then Cherry's mouth is sort of jagged and strange. Kind of like an Owo face, but not quite. like... She just has a weird-ass mouth. So I'm not quite happy with the way the eyes look, so I'm going to go back and we'll be right back. And we're back, and we have an expression I'm happy with. There's a hair on my mouth. Ew. Okay, so what I do next is, regardless if I actually, like, shade it, which we are shading, but regardless of if I do or not, I always add this sort of curved shading to her eye so it's not completely plain. It gives her eyes a bit more depth. So then, now that you're at this stage, you want to start adding in the details. So we're going to start with her jean shorts here. Basically, you want to add pockets. You want to go up from here. Maybe you want to like sharpen these off a bit so they look more natural. You don't really get like real brush strokes when you're using a mouse, so you kind of you've gotta do that a bit artificially. Basically then what I like to do is I like to draw the belt. So I just draw a line across here. Draw a line across here. Yep, that's good. Neutralize the straggling lines. That way the pockets can meet it up here. And then before you color it in, you want to add the belt loops. I don't actually know if Daisy Dukes have belt loops, but I don't care. And then you want to add the belt buckle and sort of fill that out so it looks right. And then what you want to do is you want to take just a basic brown color and you want to fill those in, but not the belt loops. I just like to take a basic gold color and make the belt buckle gold, and boom. Now what I do when she's wearing these specifically is I make these little, like, even if they're not, like, I guess anatomically correct to Daisy Dukes, I like having these little pockets sticking out because they look nice. And then you also want to add some yellow buttons along the... I actually don't know what to call that. I'm actually wearing jean shorts myself right now, so I'm using those as a reference. There's a little fold right at the end here. You can just draw a line to represent that fold. Boom, jean shorts. Now for her shirt, I'm basically, this shirt looks like a leaf. So you want to draw a line down. Usually you want to distort the line a little bit to make it look like it's being curved by her bust a little bit, because that's realism. But then you just move that up there. You make these little rib patterns. Sometimes it goes down here, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not very consistent. But then you get sort of almost skeleton-like thing going on. Oh, and then you want to add some little curves right here to represent her elbows. Especially if you drew her arms like that. Then maybe here as her kneecaps. And then over here on top we want to get a darker green, and we want to essentially make the leaves anatomically. You just want to draw a line across it and then add 2 sets of little prongs so they look like leaves. It's much easier to do this if you have a low amount of leaves, like in this image, as opposed to like a fuck ton of them. And then she's pretty much done by this point. But of course, you want to add shading because shading is nice. So you want to grab this. You want to add a little bit of that. You always want them to be sort of sharply curved. So you add a little bit of shading there. And then you want to add a little bit of you want to add a bit of shading, certain mostly random areas, but basically you want to establish where the light is. Usually I just use the 2 colors, but I've seen like people like Lucy in Pieces use up to 3 or like 4 with this whole soft shading thing. I don't know, it's confusing for me. But basically, you know, it's a shadow. And you want it to reflect where the light source is coming from. So if something's covered up by the light, you want to cover it up. So I'm just going to add some shading down this way because the light source is coming from this side of her. And you want to make sure the shadow is consistent. It doesn't like overlap over lines, so it looks realistic. I'm just going to add a little bit here. That may not look exactly right. And then over here you might want to add some highlights. Like basically a brighter version of your main color. That way you can sort of get that feeling of that's where the light source is coming from. You might even want to reflect that in the eyes. Remember the eyes aren't flat though, they're curved, so you want to add that little curve. Maybe some white highlights on her forehead skin because she's shiny. And on her arm too. And then I like to crop it down. So it's just that image and you get a good resolution. And boom, cherry.